Welcome to the Prophets in Pajamas podcast. I'm Danielle DeTeach, or Coach Danni D, and I help women entrepreneurs and professionals to achieve their personal success stories that include joy, fulfillment, and balance. This is where we talk about how to build your business in a way that allows you to work with ease, be successful, and enjoy your life. My happy place is spending as much time in my PJs as humanly possible. And I want to help other women find their happy space while running profitable businesses or having a successful career. So get comfortable and let's dig in. Hello, and welcome to the Prophets in Pajamas podcast. I am your host, Coach Danni D. I got a little bit of a cold, y'all. Just bear with me, but cold or not, anytime Monica Pierre wants to come on the show, I'm gonna be there. I will be there. If you are a avid listener, I know you know who Monica is. If not, if you are from the greater New Orleans area, once you hear her voice, you're gonna know who she is. Because she has spent so many years inspiring us on radio and TV in the city, and she is a living legend here in New Orleans. And she's a global business owner out here with her Storymaker Academy, as well as all of her other platforms where she's helping people to tell their story. So, Monica, I want to welcome you back. I feel like you're a part of the team over here at this point, but I
Oh,
definitely want to welcome you. I can't skip over 3-time Emmy award winning. How many people can say they have that in their circle of sisterhood, right? So I want to welcome Monica back. Monica, I'll give you a second to say a little bit about yourself for those who may not have listened to previous episodes, and then we're gonna just jump right on in.
I can't wait. I can't, I know I have a feeling this conversation is going to go here, there, and a lot of places. So buckle in. Having said that, thank you for having me on the show. I not only feel honored to be part of the circle, but I do listen and to the podcast. And there have been times when I said you were stepping all over my toes, and I could hardly get my foot back in the shoe. So,
And she's
wow.
so serious. Monica is a avid listener, and she will tell me when
Toes have been stepped on.
toes have been
And
stepped on, and I slightly apologize, not fully, but slightly.
not fully, not fully.
Not fully. I mean, we all have to have our toes stepped on from time to time.
Absolutely, absolutely. So,
So
so put that up in my credits that I'm an avid listener
yes,
of Prophets in Pajamas
yes,
podcast.
absolutely, absolutely.
And I'm so
Um,
proud of you because I know a lot of people are thinking about a podcast, sitting on the idea for a while. You did it, have done it, and continue to do it. So before you know it, you have 50 episodes, 100 episodes, 183. It just keeps going on and on. So congratulations on that.
Yes, we are fastly approaching the 200. We're at 180 something right now. So we're on that fast track. And I'm going to say to anybody who is sitting on that idea or any other idea, just go and do it. I didn't know where this was going to go. It has been the most amazing journey that I didn't expect, and it's continually fulfilling. I
Yeah.
meet the most amazing women. They share their beautiful perspectives, but it also is a space for me just to share what's on my mind. And sometimes I don't realize that, hey, somebody else needed to hear that thing.
Right.
So
That's again is sharing your story and you asked me to just take a second or two. I am so honored not only to be a three-time Suncoast Emmy Award winning reporter and producer, but also to have been the guardian and the gatekeeper of other people's stories. And one of the things I've always said about my career, both in television news and being on the air and radio and having a show on YouTube, is that I get to tell the story and to tell the story with dignity because our
mm,
stories are precious. and we tell our stories and we talk about our journey and think of your story as a journey, some things that you've learned that have been revealed to you. And when you tell it with being authentic to who you are and not the story of somebody else or the story you've been living that's not really your story,
Mm-hmm.
when you do that, not only helps you, but it helps somebody else because somebody else was meant to hear your story. So
Yes,
that's why I do it and find different ways in which to do it as well. So powerful stories out there, and you're the best person to tell it.
absolutely. And you said about, that authentic story, and you talked about how you are, you guard how you share those stories of others. And I want to touch on both of those things because one, I know that that has been so important in your career as a journalist, but it carries over in how you coach as
Mm,
a storytelling coach. It completely carries over because, you know, again, if you are an avid listener, I've mentioned more than one time that I am a graduate of the Storymaker Academy and have worked with Monica in that capacity. And for me, you gave me permission to tell my story in my own way.
absolutely.
And not everybody does that. Like, you meet people and they are trying to shape your story, or you know they're trying to whitewash your story, right? But to be able to stand up and be comfortable in your own skin to tell your own story.
That is very important to me. I'm adamant about that. And a couple of things. My father, my late father, could neither read nor write. And there were times when the kindness of somebody else made all the difference. So
Mm-hmm.
I always approach my work, whether it's on the air as a reporter, a journalist, a talk show host, or coaching and consulting others. How would I want others to treat my father? I would want
Mm,
them to be patient with him. I would want them to let him talk.
yeah.
I want them to say, you know what? You don't have to be perfect in your delivery. I want the heart of you to come out. That is how I approach my work. And it's like basically, who are you? What
Mm,
is unique to you? Now, we can do some things, to get over some of the apprehension of speaking. We can bring it to life. We could figure out where to start your story. But you are the story, and you cannot get it wrong if you're being true to who you are and true to those you serve and willing to step forward and share it. And looking at you, Coach Danny D, you are and have always been a storyteller. You tell amazing stories. And when you speak, we all go, and he was about to talk. Yeah. Coach Daddy D's about to say something. Because remember the first time I met you, it was at a workshop.
yes, yes.
And I'm talking and people are interacting and I'm trying to go like, and then you're there and you had not said bean. And I'm
Not
thinking,
a word. Because when i'm
not
when
a
i'm
word.
learning, I'm very quiet. Like I'm because I'm trying to like take it all in. Yeah.
Mhm. And for someone who's been on radio, sometimes the dead air or
Mm-hmm.
can be unsettling. I have to always remember in this role, let it breathe. Let's have some dead, some dead air. Let's have a chance for people to absorb it. And then when you said something, I don't remember exactly what you said. I'm thinking, oh my God, when she speaks, people will listen. When she speaks, Coach Danny D speaks, it's because she's taken it all in, she's processed it, and now she's telling it to us in a way that we can all comprehend. So I think, okay, that was a lesson for me. That was absolutely a lesson for me because and just to watch you and to see how you can also be very comfortable in your own skin and in your gift. There was another opportunity when we showed up as graduates of the Storymaker Academy. You had a speaking engagement, and we were show your crew was there, and you turned on a dime from what you had anticipated talking about and delivering it to serving the audience
Yeah.
and even doing some coaching during that session. That's what I mean about being your authentic self. You're so comfortable in your skin and who you are and your gifts, the way you deliver it, nothing can throw you because it is you. It is you. And oftentimes people, from their experiences, and I've seen it even in television, like TV news, sometimes they want to keep the camera rolling because they know eventually you're going to cry and that's going to be great for ratings. And I take the opposite. If serving you best is letting you be dignified
Yes.
and strong,
Yes.
then turn the camera off.
Yeah.
Get yourself together. I'll allow that. And then we'll put it back on. I did that. I did that. I mean, more than once because it was more important for that person to be perceived as dignified as opposed to just all broken down because it was sad enough without the tears.
Without, yeah, you don't have to add to sadness.
It was already sad enough.
You don't have to add to sadness. Like, I just want to say, yes, I feel that now as far as like just stepping into, like, I don't get nervous about speaking anymore, right?
Mhm.
And it's because of that comfort of knowing that all I have to do is show up as me. And whatever the topic is, I wouldn't be up here on that topic unless I knew what I was talking about. So all I have to do is show up as me, and it takes so much pressure off of the situation. But I would be remiss to not give you credit for unlocking that, because again, I've been in spaces before. I've been in, situations either working with someone or just, in professional space where you have someone that's constantly critiquing you, right? But not necessarily fostering, not necessarily looking at what is your gift and let me bring that out to the world. So, we all, even if I think about all of us of like that first cohort of the Storymaker Academy, we all have different lanes that we fit into. And you were able to extract that from each one of us. So it's not, when we get up there, it's not like a cookie cutter experience, like you just change the story, but it's like sounds exactly the same because we're all rehearsing the same, like tips of how to do this, right? It is really that person coming through in their own light and all shining, in their own light. And so that's you, Monica. That is you that brings that out. And
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And it really touches my soul when people share that with me or when you share that with me just now. It really, really does. That's why I have the graduation or the showcase because you
mhm,
can join programs and and that's how it is. It's I'm not saying one's better than the other. You can join places that where you can work on your talks and everything, and then you go out and you find a spot in which to deliver it. I wanted to make sure that at least you had one place in front of a live audience to share it so that you can get that experience of the stage, get that experience of not having to follow the next person and do the exact same thing as the person before you did, and that it could be okay. You could start off with a story. You could put the story a little bit later. You could have your paper, not even look at it. I wanted you to have that experience, and I hand selected the audience because I wanted an audience that would get that and would be
mhm,
there to support. Because when you are a speaker, you're the sender, right, of the communication.
right.
There's a two-way communication going on, the sender and the receiver. But your role as a receiver in the audience is to also support the
Yes.
person on stage, whether
Yeah.
at it if it's the nonverbal or the head shakes or the smiles, and even when the speaker kind of you could tell they're kind of lost their way because they're in their head,
Hmm.
you send that support,
Yes.
and next thing you know, they're back on track. because it's their story and
Right.
you cannot mess up your own story. Now you can
That
change
part.
the order, that part, right?
No, I mean you say it so nonchalantly, but it is huge. That statement in and of itself is huge. And I share it with other people when I see someone that's about to speak, when I see someone that is, that I can tell that they're nervous, I share that with them. You can't mess it up. Nobody knows what you're about to say. And I think, sometimes we are taught that rehearsal, you know, diction and all of these different things. I'm as New Orleans as they come. I can't, there's nothing I can do about that. And there was a time in my life that kept my voice silent, right?
Mm.
Because, I'm like, okay, well, I sound like a big old bowl of gumbo, and I don't know that.
Ooh, how delicious does that sound?
Right. Put a spin on it. But like I don't know that is, I'm supposed to sound, this certain way, right? And I think, back to the idea of authenticity, learning to embrace all the things about yourself. So if I had $1 for every time I speak and someone says, "You from New Orleans?"
Hmm.
And oh my God, I could listen to you talk all day long. So to me, I'm trying to hide it and people are craving it. Like I literally was on the elevator when I was out of town and this guy yelled off the elevator. He heard me talking as I was getting off the elevator and he was like, "You from New Orleans?" And I'm like, "The elevator closed." "Yes, sir. Yes, I am."
Yes.
Um,
Oh, I love
but
that. I love
it's
that.
that comfort and I never felt uncomfortable working with you. Like I never was I challenged? Yes. Was I, was there growth? Yes. I came in like I'm just doing this, like Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so I don't get fined. And I left like I can see myself on a big stage. And but I never once felt just like I wasn't good enough or I wasn't, I never felt that. And I think sometimes when we focus on those um surface things, you start to make people actually more nervous than they started because now they feel like they can't be themselves.
Right. And I hope people are hearing as you're listening, no one is suggesting that you just wake up and just wing it,
No,
right? No
no,
one is suggesting that. I'm not suggesting that. Coach Danny D is not, because if you
no.
all know Coach Danny D, she's put in the work. Remember when you did
Yes.
that? Remember when you did that presentation at a women's group and you had your PowerPoint and it was an hour? You put in the work.
Yeah.
But you were so in your own skin, so authentic that you could respond to questions that people had. You had your PowerPoint, but you just really weren't addicted to your PowerPoint. It was there to support the messaging that you have. So I'm not saying don't
Mm-mm.
worry about being better, next level, but of you.
Yes.
Be never, if I could get
Yes.
people to raise their hands, Coach Danny D, and promise that whether or not you work with me, whether or not you join the Storymaker Academy or and other programs that I have, that you never allow someone else, a coach or consultant, to coach the you out of you.
That part. That part.
No, we want
That part.
more of you,
That
not
part.
less of you.
I a few episodes back we were talking about biblical rest, and I said that God is calling you to be the most you that you have ever been.
Mm,
That's your
right
calling.
there. Yes.
That is your calling to be the most you, because we already got that other person. We got that. We need a you. And I love that you said that about coaching because like, a lot of times I'm coaching people that are in similar fields, right? And they're looking for, well, can I have your template for this or your template for that, which I have no problem with sharing, but understand that's me. You got to be you. We could do the exact same thing, but we bring different things to the table. And I want to lead with what is you and what do you bring so that we can, polish that, we can put a spotlight on that. So I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've shared with many people. I went to a women's conference this year in Chicago, and I was excited because I hadn't been out. I hadn't
Hmm.
been out of my house in a
Right, you
while.
was outside, like the
I
young
was
folks would say, you was
outside.
outside.
And first of all, a disclaimer, I am not anti-slide, but I kept saying I could do a talk like everybody else would probably do a talk. But Coach Danny D, I was just being led. Bring back your monologues, bring back
Hmm.
those motivational characters, and bring it to an audience that didn't grow up in New Orleans or live
Right,
in New Orleans and
right,
don't know what the name Monica Pierre means or
right, right.
cares, any of that stuff, and bring it. And I'll be honest, I said, okay, maybe I'll have 3 slides. Maybe I'll have a couple of slides. And then finally, I said, I'm not having a slide,
Mm-mm.
one slide, because again, I wanted to be open to where Spirit was going to lead me. It didn't
Yes,
mean that I wasn't prepared, didn't mean that I hadn't gone through my characters again or the monologues again. But if I decided to start here and not there, it wouldn't throw me and it would
right,
still be a great experience for
right,
the. The night before, they had a tech rehearsal. And everybody had their slides and they were running through them going like, my God, these are beautiful. I think they're
right.
great. And so I turned to one of the organizers and I said, I don't have any slides. And Coach Daddy D, the look of like,
Right. Like
oh my
what?
God, what have we done? Why have we let this lady from New Orleans come? And she has, as they say, nah slide. And I'm thinking, and I can see it. I'm going, oh, I don't. I mean, I said, let's talk about the stage and where the podium is. Could we move the podium? No, no, the podium is kind of stuck there. I said, okay, can we put it on the floor? Well, you're kind of short, and people won't be able to see. I mean, the whole thing.
Yeah,
Going
right.
again. I'll be fine. I have done things in a closet. So it's
It's gonna come
ideally
together.
it'd be great, but that's how life is. And so the next day, they had 3 speakers before me, and they had beautiful slides. I mean, it
Hmm.
really was engaging. There was one, hers was amazing. And then I step on stage, they introduced me, had my little walk-up song, and I said, okay, they're looking for slides. And not only do you not have a slide, the podium has been moved because the next day they figured out where to move the podium.
Oh
And
my goodness. So now you have to pivot in that moment.
always pivoting, right? So here comes it's down on the floor. I said, "Can you move it a little bit?" They said, "No, our cord is so long and we can't move it." I'm going, "No problem, no problem, no problem." And I said, "Maybe you need to tell them what they're about to experience." And I basically said, "This is a motivational monologue." And
Mm,
that's all I said. And then I created a character on the spot based
mm,
upon what was said. That I
right.
did Fear on Trial, and then I did some other things that I do every time. And I received a standing ovation.
Yes. Yes.
And it just solidified, oh no, monologues is your way, baby. It's
Oh
it's you.
yes, it is. I mean, if you have not experienced it, if you see Monica post a flyer and she's gonna be doing monologues, you better be in the room. Because it is truly an experience, and it's a different way to capture the audience, and it's very very unique, but also just absolutely perfect for you.
Mm,
Just absolutely
mm,
perfect. It brings all of your gifts together in one, experience. And I was sharing before we started recording. I've seen it more than once, and I still am captivated every time because it's just what you bring to it. And I think that is what like authentic storytelling looks like, is when you bring what you are just masterful at to the table, and not worry about what it looks like to anybody else, not worry about if it makes sense to anyone else, because you know what's about to be delivered, right?
Mhm.
You know that it's not, because we zone out on this cookie cutter. We really do, because we've seen it before. And there's no personality typically there. But like it's just, I don't know how to describe it, but the experience is just different. And I can even say that for myself, like, like you were talking about that pivot. Um, I'm gonna tell this story, y'all. Okay, so Sheila's been on the podcast before, so y'all, I know who I'm talking about. And me and her are business besties. Sheila, Sheila accidentally kind of roofied me. She had a calming tea that she takes when she
Ah,
travels,
mm.
but she put it in the tea with all the other teas. And I took it the morning before my presentation. And so I'm now just zoned out. And she actually even had to say, like, because she did my intro, she was like, please forgive me, y'all, but I kind of set my poor friend up. And she's really trying to pull it together. And I was nervous only because I'm like, I'm not at my normal energy level. But because of having unlocked the authentic self, right? I got up there and I was like, I know I have a PowerPoint back there. I can't promise y'all we gonna follow that. But I knew I know my topic, and I know the impact that I want to have on this audience. And to be able in that altered state to still deliver, that's it's just something different. I think that is the importance of the authenticity, because I'm still me, regardless of if I can read them slides or not. I'm still me, and I still, like you said, of course, preparation. That preparation is really more for me, because then I can walk out there comfortably without stumbling over, oh wait, did I skip the slide? Did I say this thing? No, you said, this is the prayer I pray before anytime that I speak, regardless of if it's the podcast, even if it's just a piece of content that I'm recording. God, allow me to say what the listening ear needs to hear.
Oh my. Yes. Yes.
But there has to be a comfort in self to do that. And, that is, again, something that you are masterful at pulling from people, and, really nurturing them in that way. And, just in the same way you give those um, people that you are interviewing that dignity, right? It's that dignity that you give us in how we can go out and do more.
Right. And then again, you're not looking around, even if you look around and you see everybody with 30 slides, or you see people, walking around in the audience doing things, and that works for them, it doesn't mean you have to do that.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't mean you have to do that at all. And because it's in your body, you know what you're going to say, and you can change the order. You can do verse 3 as opposed to verse 2. It doesn't really matter because not only it's beyond muscle memory, I think you embody it and you're able to share it. So if we're having a conversation. I don't have to know slide 1, 2, 3, and 4. I need to listen
Right.
and be engaged and pay attention and look at my audience, see what's resonating, and if I need to switch it up, and then you are comfortable with it. It's risky. It's risky to say,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to change my open based upon what I'm hearing and reinforcing what others have said. And I'm going to create a character on the spot based on that. Not for everybody, not suggesting you do that, but that is Coach Danny D. It's like every fiber in my body ignites.
And
I forget.
you can see
I
it.
forget. I forget. I'm just Monica Pierre from the country, Monica Pierre from Churchport, Louisiana. I forget all of that.
You
And
can
it's like,
see it.
use me.
You
Hmm.
can see it. You can totally see it how, like, I love watching people in their zone of genius. Like, I just love it. Like, it's just like it will win me over every time. It doesn't matter if I might not even understand what you're talking about. Like, it could be an industry that I don't understand, but when you see that like person light up in that way, it's just something like so magical. One of the things you said that I don't want to like gloss over is, of course, everybody may not be able to make up a character on the spot, but being able to be your authentic self allows you to be able to listen and adapt. And I feel like that creates a greater impact because now it's not this presentation that you've given 4,000 times, right? We all have our signature topics and we talk about those topics at length, right? But now this is a custom,
Yes.
this is a custom engagement, right? Because I'm feeling this in the room and now I need to spend, 10 minutes on this topic, right? Because this is what the room is feeling. And so the other content may be important, but I might have to, push
Yes.
it back
Yes.
because
Or
this
drop
is
it
what
all
they
together.
need. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Hmm.
this is what's needed in this space in this moment. And so that makes you even more valuable as a, speaker, a keynote, that especially if you have a corporation or somebody bringing you in, that they feel like you addressed the need of the room.
And you did that so beautifully. Of course, you were on stage and can't see everything because we were in the audience at women's event. And you did the coaching. People were standing up asking questions. You were so present. That was a case study in how to be present. How to say, I am less invested in what I had planned to say as I am with what the ears need to hear. It was master. It wasn't even forced. It wasn't like, look at me, I can turn on a dime. It was none of
No,
that.
but that's the authenticity. Like that is me. Like I like that's just me. Like I'm like, wait, no, I can't leave that. We gotta solve that. That's me. And I can't I if somebody need me to just do a straight lecture, Lord, we are in trouble
Ooh.
because I can do it. I've done it before, but for me, it has to be entertaining. It has to be engaging. You got to laugh, cry, or something. Like something has to happen. Otherwise, I'm just standing up here saying words. So for me, I love that interaction. So it like they just pulled me in the direction that my heart already wants to go. And
Right.
but we got to be brave enough to follow that.
Absolutely. And to quote Maya Angelou, people may forget what you say, but then they'll forget about what you made them, how they made them feel. I don't even remember what you coached on. I just remember the experience. I remember the feeling. I remember being so proud of you. I remember women standing up and sharing, knowing they had no intention when they got up that morning of letting people know how they were feeling or the
Right.
imposter syndrome or they needed some help. They had no intention of doing that. But because you created that presence and that opportunity, that's what I remember.
I feel like we're gonna end up crying on this episode, Monica. Because you got me.
But it's
And you
so,
know how I feel about you.
oh,
Well, I'm gonna switch it up because I ain't trying to cry today.
okay.
And I want to talk about your recent book. I want to talk about your recent book. So, if you're not watching and you're listening, I'm holding up the book, Upending the Unicorn Effect in Relentless Pursuit of Me. Um, and Dr. Renika Briscoe, she was the spearhead for this, and she's a past guest, so y'all gonna have to go back and listen to a whole bunch of episodes of these brilliant women. So she is a past guest. Monica has been a past guest, so you listen to her episodes. But also we have a few of the other authors that are going to be coming up as guests. But I I got I have the printed copy, but I got the ebook, and I that was my plain book, and I could not put it down. It
Mm.
was phenomenal. It's written phenomenally. Each one of Dr. Renika Briscoe shares her research that led into the book, and then each woman shares a very authentic, very vulnerable story about how it has, shown up in their lives. And I mean, I something resonated with every story to me. I was like, oh wow, I've experienced that, or and then also just getting to know each of the authors in a different way, like some of the why behind how they operate. um it just was phenomenal. I could just go on and on, but like, what was your experience like? How did you come to your story? I have so many questions.
Well, okay. One of the things that Dr. Renika Briscoe did brilliantly, of course, I could talk about her.
Yes, absolutely. Like, we'll be in a whole love fest and just
Yeah,
be
it'd be 5 hours
crying. And
still talking to.
all I know is I got an amazing circle.
Yeah.
That's all I know. Like, it's just brilliant women everywhere you turn.
She did the writer's retreat on the front end. And we all, I had an idea, a story I could share, and others had it. So one of the things that the retreat did was really not only allow time to start drafting and writing and coming up with the idea, but to really start to hear the story that you could tell or may tell out loud because we were
Mm,
sharing. And when you are in news and media, oftentimes we let people in, but we don't let them all the way in,
yes.
right? For
Yeah.
different reasons. Or we are more comfortable with the story that most people think they know
Right.
and can share. And then there's the other story, a deeper story, a richer story. And I was going to be very comfortable talking about stories in general. I was going to say, this is what I could talk about, and no one would get to say, huh? That happened
Right.
to you?
Right. Right.
You?
Right.
And I said, God, if this is going to happen, if I'm going to invest, because you have written a book that's just been
Hmm.
released, you have another other books and got more stuff coming. The writing process really peels back layers, and that if you're not ready,
Yeah.
not willing, and that's okay too, that it can really throw you. So I said, if you make this happen, I will tell the story that I probably haven't shared to many people. And
Mm,
so my chapter was in relentless pursuit of my voice.
hmm.
Many people, when they think of me, they think of how
Yes.
I sound on the air, my voice. But our voice is more than just what we're sounding like when we're
Yes.
communicating. Our voice is also advocating for ourselves,
Hmm.
advocating for others. And I have learned to become very comfortable advocating for others and
Hmm.
telling the story of others, not telling my own story. Because in my business, it's like, hey, we just did this story, on to the next, on to the
Right.
next. Don't have time to sit with anything. But I wanted to share, and it was just amazing that the way I opened my chapter coincided with the release and then the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina.
Yes. Yes.
And that is a story that I promise you is absolutely true. It's a
Yes.
story I did not have to invent. It was not one of my motivational characters or
Right.
anything. It was, and again, when you read it, it's this young person who is going through Hurricane Katrina on a quest to find me. And we're in Baton Rouge because everybody had left the city for the most part. People are
Yes.
trying to be rescued from the dome and the convention center or rooftops or what have you, or bridges. He wanted to find me and tell me what my voice meant to him.
Mm.
And I started, and again, my default setting is, oh, I'm just doing my job, blah, 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 don't worry about it. And how I've had to really think about why don't I sit with people telling me about the impact that my voice has with them. God gave it to me. I'm from the country. I'm from Southwest Louisiana. Mesha, we all got accents for the most part. But then I get this, and still to say this is what I get. So, and I've
Yes.
worked on it, and I take care of it. I don't smoke, I don't scream for the most part, but and how it really started back then with me having to just ask myself, why do you run from the comment?
Mm.
Why won't you just take a moment? Not just to say thank you, I'm only doing my job, but to let that person say it and
Yes.
spend time in that moment together. And little by little, I've been dealing with that. Even when you all talk about what the academy means to you, Storymaker Academy, I'm learning to let you speak so I
Yes.
can hear.
Yes.
To
Yes.
let you express the appreciation. You're not just saying it, you feel it.
No, I mean it with all my whole entire heart and soul. And
Mhm.
I've been there. I've definitely been there of not being able to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like people are saying it and not hearing it. And, we tend to, we hear the critiques, but we don't hear the accolades, right?
Yes.
And I remember well, this was when I first met you. We had known each other for a moment. And when you invited me on the Powerhouse Woman show, and I was telling you, because like me and my friend group was geeked out. Like they were like, wait, you're going to be interviewed by the Monica Pierre. Like it was like you could scroll for like 10 minutes like on the conversation that went back and forth, and I like was sharing just a piece of that with you right before we like started recording, and you just like it just like it didn't even register, like as far as like I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like
Mhm.
you don't understand that, what you mean to a whole generation of women. Like you don't understand. And the first time that you came over, my husband said, well, he said, wait, Monica Pierre coming to our house, like you are a big deal, like. And but I get it, and I think a lot of women, like myself included, struggle with that. We struggle with receiving the accolade, receiving the compliment, understanding that what we're doing is impactful to others. And I'm stepping on toes right now. I think sometimes when we do that, it allows us to shrink back and not do the things that God has called us to do, because we don't think that we as our individual self can make that impact, right?
Mhm.
But like I've had those moments where somebody's pulled me aside. I had one this weekend where someone pulled me aside and told me about something I told them in 2018.
Wow.
And while I remember having a conversation with that person, I didn't remember that thing that was said, but that thing has been resonating in that person. So we are impacting people every single day, and we got to own that.
Right. We have to own it. And two things. Number one, It's almost to a person the same thing that's said, that you were the voice of my generation. What was it like to, be in New Orleans and turn on the air radio and hear a Black woman
Mhm.
who's able to sound, and it wasn't, articulate, it was just the calmness of my voice, I'm told. It was
The
just,
calmness, I'm gonna go back to a word we've used already, dignity.
yes, yes,
The
yes,
dignity, it was, I mean, you have a lot of people on the radio, but you brought that poise, that kind of sophistication, but not in a like off-putting way, like not in a, that you weren't like welcoming, not that if we saw you on the street, we couldn't walk up and say hello, but it was just a possibility, right?
yes, right.
Possibility.
Possibility. And even after all of these years, when people find me and tell me or see me and tell me, it's like it's all new to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's not 20 years or 25 years later or
Mm-mm.
30 years later. It's
Mm-mm.
they still feel it. I
Yes.
mean, I would get it. It was like I remember working for one of the school districts in New Orleans, and I went to one of the principals. I said, "Oh, God, we got this family, well known, and they have grant money and blah blah blah." And I'm saying they're going to come, and blah, and the principal is looking at me like I'm an alien. I'm going, "You have any questions for me?" And he goes, "Monica, I am fanning out. I haven't heard a word you
Right,
say."
right. Cause I'm like, and I was like in his shoes. I'm like, he ain't hearing nothing. He just like Monica Pierre is
What?
talking to
Okay,
me.
didn't you hear me say grant money and that they're coming and bringing a check?
He
He
said
said,
Monica
I haven't heard a
Pierre is
word you
talking
say.
to me. Monica Pierre is like in my presence and speaking to me. Like,
And we all, to your point too, Coach Danny D, when you are in your gift, you have that same impact as well. And perhaps you can graciously receive it, or perhaps you're being worked on and challenged. And one of the things about the book and Relentless Pursuit of Me and the Unicorn Effect is that the Unicorn Effect says, Monica, go on and keep working.
that
Don't you stop. Don't take a moment to let that person have their say. You keep going. So I've had to examine that, and I examined that in the book as to that serves nobody, least of
mm-mm,
all me.
mm-mm,
That's disrespectful to the person who, whether you find me and go up the floors and ask for Monica, or you run across me, or you recognize me. And I'm telling you, it's men, it's younger men, it's older women. And I'm going, what a gift God has given me. And you better get your act together, Monica.
that part. That part. No, that part. Like, so you said like, you don't know if I'm like there or working through it is where I
Mhm.
am.
Yes.
But that part, like I'm like, you've given me this gift, and how dare I diminish it? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that's not fair of me. And um, and I feel like every time I kind of like, even have a moment of doubt, somebody comes and shares that experience, and it's like, okay, get back,
Yes.
get back to doing the thing, because people need what it is you're bringing to the table, and that's for all of us. Whatever it is you're bringing to the table, there's somebody that's waiting on that. And if you are being too humble about that thing, or trying to resist that thing, somebody's waiting, and they're not getting what they need.
Right. It's like if someone's hungry and you have bread, but you won't share it, you won't give it, or you just give them the crust,
Right,
you know, it's like,
right.
yeah, it's important.
It is. And I think, again, circling back to like authenticity, the fact that you get that same response from people. I shared this yesterday when I was talking to someone, that they're people that I've met in different phases of my life who have all experienced me the same, even though I know that I have been on a growth journey and I know that I wasn't like, the young lady said, you said this to me in 2018. I'm not the same person that I
Hmm.
was in 2018. But if you are living and presenting authentically, your essence is still the same. And that's why no matter who's saying it, it's the same message.
Yes.
That's how I received you because that at the core, that's who you are. Like whether you see it or not, that is who you are.
Right. And again, when we think of our authentic selves, what we're really saying is the gift to who you are.
Yeah.
It's your gift. It's the way you do it. Even though 1,000 people are doing the same thing, 1,000 people are coaching, 1,000 people are doing balloon artistry, but the gift of who you are is in the twist of the balloon, even
Right.
though everybody's twisting it the same way. People being on the air or doing the Powerhouse Woman show or whatever I do or speaking, tons of MCs and hosts. But if you're being you, that's the gift that you're depositing in their soul, and it's going to keep compound interest, right? It's just going to
Yes.
keep
Yes.
going. So
Yes.
yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah. I mean, I just, I thank God for the gift.
Mm.
And, I can't say I always felt that way. I think we all have that point where we like resist, right? But I thank God for the gift because my current perspective is seeing what that brings out in other people. Like the gift requires service.
Oh my, yes, that right there. The gift requires service. Yeah. And that helps you to move through when you go through areas of doubt or imposter syndrome or second guessing or fear or whatever. Those things don't go away, but it helps you
Mm-hmm.
figure out and remember it's not about you.
Mm-mm.
It is not about you.
It's not.
You're the vessel.
It's not.
You
It's
have an
really not. I'm just I'm showing up to do the work of God.
Right. So when you know that regardless of what you prepared and planned and rehearsed is great, but there's a greater need and a greater service that you can bring by saying, I'm willing, I'm willing. It's there if I need it. But no, we're going in a whole different direction. And those that you're there to serve, it's like you tailor made this experience for
For
us,
them.
for me, and thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the book has really opened this up for me. I am more committed that
Mm.
I will find ways to do the characters, the monologues. It'll make sense.
Yeah.
And I wrote some of them years ago, but
Mm-hmm.
like new. When I think about fear on trial, when I think about change, when I even think about the lady the older lady who cleans the dormitory and she recognizes her purpose, I look at her different all these years
Mm-hmm.
because that's more important than ever. And you think of all the people
Yes.
who are overlooked because they don't have the degree or
That part.
overlooked, yeah,
Yes.
because they don't have the status. And
I
here she is saving people's dreams by seeing and talking to them and encouraging them.
I think she's my favorite character.
Oh, Miss Tilly.
I think she's my favorite character. One, because she just reminds me of my grandma.
Oh,
And two, because I think that that is often overlooked, right? Like people don't realize how much that encouragement means. And, you know, I've been in so many different situations where I've had the privilege to be that encourager.
Mm.
And, knowing that I'm looking at greatness, right? But greatness only means so much if you don't believe it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't have someone that's seen them or listening to them. And so they may have all the training, they may have, checked all of these boxes, but really just that conversation of ensuring to somebody that they're enough, that they can do it, that, their dreams are attainable, and having someone kind of be that cheerleader in the
Yeah.
background um is huge. And there's so many, Miss Tillys out there, right? That again, they usually are in the shadows. They're
Absolutely.
usually in the shadows. And um, yeah, it's just, yeah, that's my favorite character.
Mm. As you're saying that, Coach Danny D, I remember I did the characters a few years ago. It was some event one of the universities put on. It was like a dinner in the French Court or something, and everybody had PhDs, and this one person came to me afterward, and he says, "My mother was Miss Tilly.
Mm,
Think of all the Miss Tillys
yeah,
that got you through, that
yeah.
reminded you. So you got the PhD, not just for you. Your story of the
Uh-uh.
PhD is the story of the woman who encouraged you, or the man who said, I see something great in you. You experience that all the time in
Yes,
your business. It's like, wow. And for people to feel seen, the Miss
yes,
Tillys of the world, because
yes.
people don't see them, or they're looking past them because they
Right.
want somebody else to be the
Because
encourager.
they, people tend to size up based on credentials.
Hmm.
And it's a soul. It's something about a, soul. It knows no credential. It doesn't. It's just that soul to soul connection.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And as Miss Tilly says, it don't take nothing to encourage somebody. We think it's costing us.
No, it really, I mean, as you're talking, I'm thinking about a Miss Tilly experience. Like, I was doing a balloon order in this hotel. It has only one elevator that goes all the way up to the pool. And I'm traipsing all this stuff back and forth. I was like so sick that particular day, but I had to get this done. And then there was an event that was changing rooms every, like, like the classes were changing over every 15 to 30 minutes. So I'm dealing with all of that, trying to get this event set up. And I'm at the part of like just at my wits' end. And there's an older bellman, or I don't know if he was a bellman, but an older staff
Mhm.
worker, older Black guy. And every time I passed him, he'd say something. He's all right, you're doing it. Okay, how many more trips you got? Or, he would just say something every time that I passed. And it just gave me a little more pep, to finish out. And so I'm doing the finishing touches, and he walks over to me, and I'm looking at him. He's old enough to be my grandparent, and New Orleans and the hospitality industry. I'm sure he's probably been in the industry longer than I've been alive.
Mm.
And he walks up to me and he said, "Oh, you did a good job." And I said, "Thank you." He said, "Is this your business?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "I'm so proud of you."
Mm. Mm.
He said, "We don't see us in this space very often. And I am so proud of you." And the way I ugly cried,
Oh, I'm about to ugly cry myself.
the way
Yeah.
I ugly cried, because for me,
Mhm.
that was no longer a setup. I didn't know that gentleman from Adam, but all of a sudden he was my grandfather. And all of a sudden I was some dream that he wanted for future generations.
Yeah.
And so that was just so much more of a moment than just a compliment.
Right. Wow.
And that's why I will always celebrate the Miss Tillies of the world, because they crawled, bled, walked, everything so that we could run.
Right. They held their tongue when they wanted to cuss somebody out,
Yes.
right? And then so we can soar.
Yes.
It's our job too to notice.
Right.
He noticed you
Yes. Yes.
and said something about and then encouraged you.
Yes.
And he's living on. We don't even know if he's alive. But
Right. But I'm just saying, but he's living on because I always tell this story.
I know, I know.
And so, I know we go off on tangents, but we always gonna come back. Brings us back to the power of storytelling, because we owe it to those generations to tell their stories, to tell our stories. Our stories are influenced by their stories, and it continues it on, especially in a world where erasure is real.
Absolutely.
And so I love, like I didn't see myself as a storyteller until I met you. And I embrace that you say you've always been a storyteller. And I mean, if I look at it, my family is a family of story. Like if we get together, it's like just colorful. But not understanding the importance of it.
Right, right. Absolutely. And we're telling the story again, not just for us, but for someone else. We're the best person to tell it and to keep it alive. We're the gatekeepers, even though the world says the gate's closed
Right.
and or this story is being erased. We get to bring significance to the
Yes.
story. You, Coach Danny D, decided that this gentleman's story will live on. You
Yes.
didn't have to get the government's permission.
No,
You didn't have to go fight somebody because they want to take it out of the museum. You decided whenever it's appropriate or whatever it needs to be shared, you're going to bring that story. We don't need to know his name. You probably don't even know his name
I don't.
or
I don't.
exactly what he we did, but you beautifully tell it because you set it up where you're just doing it. You're just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But he's noticing. He's
Yes.
watching. And then when he gets his moment, he talks to you and he says how proud he is and how this is a moment in his journey. This is the moment where all of the sacrificing and not seeing others who look like him is coming to life. That to me makes a great storyteller.
And it's connection. Cause now again, I don't know his name, but he doesn't know mine, but we are forever connected in that
Yeah.
experience.
Yes.
And it's someone else that's going to hear that story and think about the Miss Tillies in their life and that connection. It just, the art of storytelling, like, it's just like, I love that you get to sit in the middle of that. You know what I'm saying? Because it is such a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Mm, yeah. And okay, and at this, I call it my stage of life. And when I was praying, God said, "This is your most creative season to date." So all of the things that have come before are wonderful, but there's even more. There's even opportunities for you to create more shows and do characters, and you're going to put these characters in everything you do. You're going to bring them to life. And I'm going, okay, all right. Yes, sir.
Like, but you're doing it masterfully. And, I'm grateful to be
Mm,
able to experience it. I'm grateful to watch you journey down that road, right? Because it was, like all of us, like it's not like you just wake up one morning and you're like, I'm this. Like there's a
mm,
journey, there's a process, and like, embracing, like sometimes we tiptoe and sometimes we jump all the way in, but just embracing that process and um being open to like putting yourself out there, knowing that it's different, knowing that everybody may not understand it at first, but also knowing that is exactly what needs to happen. So
Right, right.
that's
Yeah, thank you.
beautiful.
And trust it and know that it'll be always praying for my divine helpers, you know, who needs to see it, who needs to hear it. How
Yeah.
do I use every opportunity that I'm a part of to share one of the characters, one of the monologues, or even if I don't even call it that, one of the
Yeah.
examples. I don't like to necessarily get caught up in names because sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm a speaker, but I'm that and this,
I mean, you a speaker. I mean, we're not gonna
Yeah, I
shirk
mean, I'm
on that.
saying like that it's part of it. That's part of
No,
it.
but you're a speaker, you're a performer, you are a motivator, right?
Yes, yes.
Like all of that. And I think that the monologues encompass all of that in
Hmm.
one. It brings all of your like gifts and talents together. And yeah, it's just the message is so powerful.
Mm.
And I think the delivery allows the message to sneak up on
Uh-oh,
in a
uh-oh.
beautiful way, in such a beautiful way, because there's certain topics, we just try to avoid. We don't want to talk about fear.
No,
We don't want to talk about imposter syndrome.
no.
We don't want to talk about those things, but you get so caught up in the narrative that you don't realize that those wheels have started turning, until it's too late. You too far in to
I'm
turn
too far.
around.
I can't put the book down now. I gotta keep going.
Right. You're too far in to turn around. But I think that that's beautiful because it allows us to um, be authentic, be vulnerable in a way that sometimes when we're direct doesn't quite happen.
Hmm. And especially for me, I have done, especially when I was talking about webinars, and I was had a coach, and we were talking about it and the structure, and even when I was putting the structure together, Coach Danny D, it didn't feel authentic.
Mm-mm.
But hey, they got a seven-figure coaching company. Yeah, let me give it a try. I'm
Right.
willing. And I did the night one, and I'm going, this is gonna be a long hour.
Right.
It's gonna be a
Because
very long
it's
hour.
not, it becomes labor on both sides.
Yes, for the night two, I said, you know what? I ain't even looking at it. I just decided that I was going to be me. And if no one wanted to do my program, then I'll have, but it just felt like me. And did people sign up? I don't even remember if they did or not. I kept going, but I kept saying that was again a reminder, bring these characters back, bring them back, bring them
Yes.
back. And years later, Chicago happened and they're back. They're
No.
back. Yeah.
No, like you're sharing that. I just I told you about the prayer that I pray before I
Mhm.
speak. I just shared with someone the other day. That is how I got there. That is where that prayer came from. So I was working with the coach and we had a whole template of how the presentation is supposed to go. And I do this presentation and I'm, nervous about getting it right. Right. So the
Mhm.
delivery is not quite there because I'm not comfortable with this because it's not me. And I'm nervous about getting it right. And so I did it. I struggled through it. And then I had a second date scheduled to do the same presentation. And this time around, like I had made some updates to it and everything, but this time around, the whole world was going on before I had to present. So I had zero time to review my slide deck before I got up there. Zero time. And I prayed that prayer
Mm.
and I killed it.
Oh,
I didn't worry about what, the slides were there and I used them, to the best of my ability, but I didn't worry about it.
no.
And so ever since then, that has been my prayer is that I don't want to get so bogged down by something that's not me. And I feel like, whether it's speaking or, your content or your, marketing, whatever it is, because I've heard it from other people with other things. Yes, we want to work with, coaches and stuff and get best practices and understand the industry or understand a part of the industry we may not understand.
Correct.
But the more you're connected to your authentic self, the more you know what to accept and what to reject. Because there's always going to be parts that resonate with you and parts that just absolutely don't. And
Correct.
now I'm in a space where I can automatically see, I'm like, nope, that is a no.
Mhm. That discernment is right there.
Right. Because I've spent so much time embracing me that I'm
Mm,
like, that is a hard no. Like, some things are going to be a growth. Like it might just be uncomfortable. And we want to have those growth moments, but some things that's just not me. And it's never going to be me. So I'm not going to force that on myself. So I hope if y'all got nothing else from this conversation, it is to, really sit with self
mhm.
and get comfortable with yourself. And as you, come out of that, that when you are sharing, whether it is in official, speaking capacity or just a conversation, that you're sharing that authentic self.
Right. And there's so much power and beauty in that.
Mm,
And to tweak it in the mindset that it's not coming as a deficit or a comparison to someone else, even
yes.
someone you admire. I can lower the register of my voice as much as I want, but I'm not Maya Angelou. Okay,
Yes.
I sound like a
Yes.
fraud. I
Yes.
don't even sound like myself. But this is the voice that I've been given, and this is the
Yes.
talent you've been given. You all in the balloon artistry business have got me all messed up. I cannot go to an event and see like a little janky looking display. I'm going, where's the artistry? What is this? Because you all bring that. You bring it. Not that a couple, three balloons strung is
Right.
bad, but it's not the gifts and the talents that you
Right.
bring. So it's like, what is the gift? And be more than okay with it. This is given by the ultimate gift giver. Now, your
That
job
part.
is to nurture, your job is to, but this is a gift. And whether it's
Yes.
speaking or having people feel dignified or being able to say, I'm gonna be quiet, but when I do speak, I will have figured some things out for you, and I'm going to share that.
Yes. Yes.
That problem solving is just in processes. That's your gifts,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know?
That's my love language. Like I'm like, I said something about going into creative space in front of my balloon community. And I was like, oh no, not what y'all mean. Y'all talking about touching balloons. I'm talking about
Yeah.
like brainstorming, creating like that, that's me. Like that is
Right.
that is the
Right.
space that I enjoy.
And I'll have one more example of the brilliance of Coach Danny D. This is when I'm going, I don't understand MailChimp and yeah. And then we were working together and there was a part that you had to figure out. She goes, I'm gonna figure it out. You stayed up till midnight that day, that night or early morning, and you figured it out. I'm going, that is truly a gift because I went to sleep.
No, because it's gonna bother me. Like I'm a problem solver by nature, and if a problem is sitting there, it's going to bother me. So I'm going to figure it out. That's just it.
Yeah.
It is who I am, and I can't. Again, authenticity. That's
Yeah.
me.
Right. And again, if we were getting to the point, in our evolution, is that we're not going to apologize.
Nope.
Our job is to embrace it, and that's what it
Absolutely.
is.
Absolutely. All right, Monica. I know we can talk all day and
Oh my
all
goodness.
night because you know,
This
we're
is good
talkers.
stuff. And
Um,
I'm so excited about your show. Number one, that it doesn't feel like it's been all day or you just bring
No, it really doesn't. Like when we're recording it, when you listen back to it, and because again, I know we just said it. We're not getting paid to say authenticity. We're really not. But
no, no.
but I think that is. I think that's why. I think because I appreciate that every one of you that come on as guests are really open, are really sharing from a true place. And I think that that's what draws people in and makes them want to continue to listen, because we've seen the rehearsed version. You know what I'm saying? We've seen the front house version of, you know, everyone we know, every, personality that we know, but to get that kind of back of house, like,
Mm,
this
yes.
is like me with my hair down sort of, vibe, I think, resonates, and it's like I could just sit and listen. I can just,
Right,
yeah.
right. And again, almost 200 episodes. That's
Yes.
milestones.
Yes. Yes.
Milestones.
Yes. Yes. It's just, yeah. It's I said I wasn't gonna cry. We're not doing that. Okay.
Okay,
We're not gonna
okay.
do that,
But it
Monica. I
starts with
accept it.
episode one. It starts with episode
It
one.
starts with episode one. You gotta just I a little tip that I do to myself sometimes, for those of us that are stalled, I force myself into submission. So
Hmm.
I didn't know what I was gonna say on episode one, but I had already announced it. So I had to do it. Like I backed myself into a corner. I already announced it, so I had to do it. So take the leap. It might be messy. I don't know what episode one is about. I think it just tells you what that podcast is going to be about. I
Right,
have
oh,
no
general.
clue. I've not
Mhm.
looked back. I have no clue. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't, this episode is not dependent on episode one being a perfection, right? So
Mhm.
just whatever it is you're holding up, just get out there. Like, we literally just, like, in March started talking about a conference that happened in September and was like phenomenal. And it was because we were obedient and we took that step. So make sure you're taking those steps.
You said this is the season, I wrote it down and put my glasses on, of
Of ob- ob- ob-
obedience and abundance.
obedience and abundance, but obedience comes first.
Oh, okay.
You gotta
Don't
you
get
gotta
it
do the
twisted.
you got to do the obedience part first, right? You got to do the thing, and then God will be like, let me open the floodgates.
Okay, note to self, obedience comes first.
Obedience comes first, because we sitting around waiting for the abundance, and we not doing the thing. So
I
we got
got
to do you have to do the thing first. So Monica, how can people get in touch with you?
um,
What's going on in your world that you want to share with the audience?
I want to share the fact that I want to be deliciously busy on tour
I
with
love
Monica,
it.
deliciously busy, the Monica monologue. So um, I'm a professional speaker, performer, and I'm looking for those amazing opportunities in which to share these characters and the lessons that they have. MonicaPierrePresents.com is a way for you to contact me. And the ideal audience are people who really are on the verge of breakthroughs but feel stuck, and then we can bring and there's some ways for me to customize it as well. Also, I have started doing more of my get stage ready speaker intensive, where those of you who really don't need help with your talk but would love to have some direction and some consultation on the speaker assets that you need, whether it's your speaker reel, some information on your one sheet, all those things to help you look like you are in business or in the business of speaking. Those are the two main things that I have coming up. I also have the prep room where I work intensively with you one on one,
Okay.
and it's worth it, where you need someone to, how do I tap into my authentic self? I wish someone shared with me just today, Coach Danny D, that there was a coaching experience where the person was told, well, your voice is too high, and na 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 na, and the person just really became like shy of putting their voice out there. That breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Our jobs, in my opinion, as coaches and those who do this work, is to help you not feel that you have to just throw away who you are
Yeah.
in order to be able to stand in front of an audience and give a talk. I think that's insane. So,
Yes.
so please reach out to me at monicapierpresents.com.
I love that. that you have that space. I know, from my own experience that you are that person that, speaks life into a person and who they are. It saddens me that so many platforms basically shut the door in people's face and say, this is not for you.
Mm.
Because that's what I hear when I
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
that,
That's what, yeah, that's why
that,
we're
that this is
reacting
not,
to it. This is
this is
not for
not for
you.
you,
Don't use your voice. Don't speak your truth. None of that,
that
because your
this is
voice is
not for you.
squeaky.
And as opposed to, let me show you how to be you on the stage.
Mm.
It's just so empowering in such a different way. And that is one of the many things that you bring to the table. And so if you are out there and if like people say you have church hurt, if you got speaking hurt,
Let me write that down.
if you got speaking hurt,
Mhm.
Monica is the person that you need to reach out to, because she's going to bring you lovingly through this process, that you are not feeling that hurt. You're not feeling that frustration. You feel like you're ready to get on that stage.
Yes.
You
And
feel
like you
ready.
said, see yourself on a big stage.
See yourself on the big stage. Cause I was like, I don't know what kind of voodoo you doing up in this space, but I was trying to mind my business in a back room. I only did this because I have the rule that if the only reason I'm not doing something is because I'm scared I have to do it, that's the only reason I did this. And I was just going to take this information and put it in a little, have it in my arsenal and just move on. And then all of a sudden I was like, well, lights, camera, action. Where's my microphone? Like,
Yes, yes. I'm ready.
I am ready.
Point me to the yes. And when you shared that with me, I'm going, well, I'll be, as they say, a monkey's uncle. Well, I'll be.
Right. I was like, I don't even know why I'm saying this out loud, because this is crazy. But that is the experience. And that, like, every program that I've been in with you, every, process, every step of the way has been that way, nurturing in that way. Um, Whether it was your intention or not, in one of the earlier programs that I was in with you, you helped me find my brand voice. Because it was just, at that moment I was not thinking about getting on nobody's stage. That was not it. But that process made me think internally about what that voice looks like. So it's so many layers to it, but it also just feels so effortless, that is just your gift.
Uh, yes. And remember, I don't know if you when you're doing it again, but calendar detox. Remember, I loved it. I loved that.
Yes, yes,
My
yes.
calendar was a
So
hot mess.
yes, so I alternate between a calendar detox and a capable confident challenge. So I think next month is calendar detox. I might be wrong. I'm gonna put it in the show notes. Don't hold me to it, y'all. But yeah, the calendar detox is such a great, like,
Well, both of them are, but that calendar detox, I'm going. The one I'm feeling all crazy. Look at this
yeah, to
calendar.
get you, yeah, to get you just back in alignment, because we're always feeling booked and busy. But part of that is because we have so much stuff that we're doing that has nothing to do with where we're going, or things that we're doing that's not serving
Mm,
our goals. If it's not adding to your success, bringing you joy, or fulfilling your purpose, it's got to go. It's got to
yeah.
go. And so, yeah, I enjoy going through that process. Like, and I re-go through the process like every time, because sometimes things creep in and you're like, wait, wait, wait. How did you get here?
Yes. Yeah.
How
Oh,
did you
yeah.
get here?
Well worth it. The investment of time and your talent and your gift. Yeah. So sign up, people. Sign up.
Yes, sign up, sign up. It's game changing.
Yes, it is.
I
I
have
agree.
so many great testimonies of people that are like, whoa, that like set me. And I think that is the lead up to that obedience and abundance. Because
Mm,
once you get that stuff out the way, it's like, okay, this is the checklist. This is what I need to be doing. and let's start executing and seeing that abundance.
Let-
Um, I'm gonna do our wrap up questions, and we're gonna have
Okay.
the links to all of the programs that you have in the show notes, so that people can book you as a speaker, as well as join your program, so they can be speakers and be getting
Right. And the
booked out
Storymaker
here.
Academy, I forgot, they didn't mention that, storymakeracademy.com. So
All
that's
right,
what we were
yes.
talking about a little bit earlier.
Yes, so we're gonna put all of that in the show notes to make sure y'all are getting all of these opportunities to work with the Monica Pierre. I gotta put that the in front of it for y'all to understand the magnitude of who Monica is. So Monica, I'm gonna do the wrap up questions.
Hmm.
So tell me about your favorite pair of pajamas.
Ooh, can they be like what I call pajamas?
They,
Okay, okay.
whatever identifies as pajamas in your world.
In my world, it's my husband's t-shirts that are kind of raggedy, but I love them. Or not. The one I'm wearing right now is nice and cozy too, very silky. But
No, yeah.
I love those t-shirts. On the shirts, whatever they call them. They call them on the shirts. But yeah, very, very
No,
nice.
it's y'all know I like every kind of pajamas. Like any, no one has said something that I was like, nope.
That's not a pajama.
Um, so I have this shirt from when Jean Paul was in band at Brother Martin in 19 whatever,
Some art.
yeah,
Yeah.
some odd dates. Um, that at this point is probably like, I mean, yeah, we just don't want to talk about it. It is just material at
Yeah.
this point.
It's a
But
little like a throw I could put on my lap at this point, right?
right, but it is so
Yeah.
comfortable. Like,
Love it.
I can't wear it when company is over because it's on its last leg, but it is so incredibly loved in, worn in, comfortable.
Love it.
So my time freedom allows me to
My time freedom allows me to sit in my bed with a book on my chest and
um
read.
I love it.
Yes.
I love
Love
it. I love it. That's my like one of my things that I'm getting back to. Like, I like to insert the things that bring me joy. So sitting and reading,
that.
like physically reading a book as opposed to like audio and
Yes.
all of that. That
Yes.
is my one of my things for this year. Um, what's the best advice that you can give someone seeking the profits in pajamas lifestyle?
Number one, get it clear in your head that you absolutely deserve it.
Ah, yes.
And number two, you have to give it to yourself as a gift.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, yes. I love that. Yes. All right. So I want to thank you again, Monica, for just being here, being in this space. It's an open door for you whenever you want to come on. I am blessed to have met you, like as somebody who I've always admired, and whether you knew it or not, we're like a secret mentor. Um, but to like not only have met you, but to have you as a part of my world, my circle, my family. Yeah. Again, I'm not gonna ugly cry, so I'm gonna just
No ugly
leave.
cry.
I'm gonna just leave it at that.
Well, thank you. Again, after we did the first cohort of Storymaker Academy, it was like, what's next? I said, live long and prosper. Go out and tell the story. Say, no, no, bird, with you, with you. So we have not been out of each other's orbit and
No,
circle since then, since that June of the very first cohort.
mm-mm,
So
no,
yeah,
no.
thank you so much.
Thank you, listeners. Check the show notes for what's going on in both of our worlds. We'll have it down there. I'm not gonna even try to pull it off the top of my head right now. And I will see you guys next week. Thanks for listening to the Profits in Pajamas podcast. I hope you got some great tips to start working with these. Want to stay connected? Follow me at Your Workflow on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. For more information about creating balance in your life, Register for my upcoming calendar detox challenge at CoachDanniD.com. Don't forget to subscribe, join the community, and book a call to find the workflow program that best fits your needs.